देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ब्रह्मा गुरु
Dsba is a state-of-art modern business school under the prestigious Dayanand Sagar institutions.
Hi, my name is Monica. I'm from America. I've been part of the Dsba family for the past 1.5 years. I've had a great experience with good faculty, amazing friends, and I look forward to the next 1.5 years.
Good morning. I'm Meera Krishnan, a faculty at Dsba. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome each one of you to the 5-day faculty development program organized by IQAC, the Anand Sagar Business Academy, in association with NICT Computer Education Private Limited, Crampede Private Limited, Singapore, and Humanities Council, DSI. The education industry is not as simple as it was in 90s and early 2000s. With the rising demand for quality education, it becomes imperative for educational institutes to embark on a digital journey to gain credibility, boost enrollment, and fulfill quality demands. The digital revolution is sweeping across various industries, and we believe the educational sector shouldn't fall under any exceptions. With web development and digital marketing services for educational institutes are becoming a promising tool. It is therefore time for educational pioneers to use digital presence to expand their reach and convey useful information to the niche. So here we are today with a 5-day faculty development program on branding and web development for higher education institutions. We begin today's proceedings on an auspicious note by lighting the lamp. Lamp of knowledge does not lessen when shared with or imparted to others. On the contrary, it increases in clarity and convictions on giving. It benefits both the receiver and the giver. Let us invoke the Almighty to bless us.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
Now that we have invoked the blessings of the Almighty, I'm honored to introduce you all to our principal, Dr. Brigadier Sandesh. He has wealth of experience of over 3.5 decades in the field of administration, operations, teaching, and training. He has been closely associated with the macro management of 10 public schools and 3 professional colleges located in South India. Dr. Sandesh has been on the faculty of College of Defense Management, Secunderabad, specializing in the fields of general and strategic management. As the administrative head of a professional college, he has turned around the institution into a self-sustaining one. Now, I take pride to invite our respected principal to deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Meera. Good morning, everybody. At the outset, let me wish you all a very happy, healthy, and prosperous New Year. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome you all at DSBA to the much awaited FDP aimed at giving the participants a comprehensive insight into the branding and web development for higher education institutions. A well-defined and executed brand strategy affects all aspects of business and is directly connected to consumer needs, emotions, and competitive environment, especially in the fast-changing markets with societal expectations. Having a cohesive brand strategy helps you communicate with your customers more clearly, more so in the context of COVID-19 pandemic situation, which calls for innovations and appropriate approaches. And this is applicable for the education institutions as well. Web design is a crucial component of web development process. If you are interested in web design, we are guessing you have a creative streak. And how could you not be excited about jumping in and making your first website? Web design is all about crafting a functional piece of art. And I'm sure each one of you is interested in doing that. The incredible experts, facilitators, and our supporting team will of this FDP will guide you through the nitty-gritties and the essential tools for branding and web page development over the next 5 days. Each topic for discussion and the activities that have been minutely selected will keep you abreast with the subject as well as assist you in overcoming new challenges. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for being sincerely committed to this event. Hope this Power Pack 5 days FDP helps you immensely to establish credibility in your respective fields. And I'm sure at the end of the 5 days, you would be able to design and put up a website or web page of your own. If not, at least you should be able to prepare a landing page. I thank you all and wish you all good luck. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Dr. Solomon Jabaraj, Faculty, Dsba, to share with us the context of the FDP.
Greetings to one and all. I am Professor Solomon Jabaraj, faculty at Dsba. It's my pleasure and honor to welcome you all to the much awaited 5 days FDP on branding and web development for higher education institutions. I request all the participants to give attention the PPT play now. Our FTP is organized and conducted for the participant from the higher education institution to gain insight and information that would remain effective in their life, exercise, and work. Each topic for discussion and debate for our FTP topics was chosen, keeping in mind the interest of program developer. All the 5 days, we have an amazing technical team where we will be talking about branding and web development for higher education institutions. It has engulfed all aspects of our life, fast-changing markets and societal expectations for innovations and appropriate approaches in all functional areas of business. Learning is a measure of quality of higher education and involves systematic and rigorous inquiry leading to creation of new knowledge, ideas, technologies, innovations, and solution to problems, which are then disseminated. It seems so easy to say that the focus of learning in social work should be on building theory from practice. Practitioner complain that the idea of learning intimidates them. Learners complain that practice is not evidence-based. Students complain that textbook theory is too abstract, and they learn most from field practice. Educators complain that students are more interested in being lectured to be current practitioner rather than academics whose knowledge is seen to be derived from the books or research. Then what we learned from the played PPT from my beginning of my speech, you all have the following question in your mind. Which website is more attractive? Which website stored brain for a longer time? And which website giving more information in a simplest form? In the same manner, which website is less attractive? And which website stored brain for a little time? And which website giving less information in a complex way? A website is an extension of your business and your brand. Having a website means customer always able to find you anytime, anywhere. Even outside of the business hours, your website continues to find and secure new customers. At its simplest, a website provides a quick and easy way of communicating information between buyers and sellers. Having a good quality and easy to use website makes customer feel comfortable using your services, as they will assume they can expect the same positive experience in all areas of your business. Building a right website for your brand is the aim of our 5 days FDP. Let us learn from experts how branding and web development has adapted to new challenges. Day 1, we are going to study about branding. Day 2, 3, and 4, we are going to learn web development. And day 5, we are going to study about web content development with photos and web content development by words. Before we begin this web FTP, I would like to express my heartiest gratitude to all the organizers, delivery channel partners, and participants who sincerely committed to this event to make it fruitful. I welcome you all for the wonderful learning experience with our delivery channel partners. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the overview of the FTP. It's time now to introduce our delivery channel partner, Mr. Kiran Kumar. He is the CEO and the founder director of NICT, Computer Education Private Limited, established in the year 1996. Mr. Kiran Kumar is a mentor for many commerce college students and has trained several students in IT education stream, currently working in several sought-after multinational companies. He imparts training at Tally, Microsoft, Excel, digital marketing, and SAP modules to more than 65 colleges in Bangalore City. He is a workaholic and a decisive corporate-style administrator, a social media savvy, and has interests in silk business, real estate, and in education. Mr. Kumar has conducted several faculty development programs at many colleges and big corporate houses. I heartily welcome you, sir, and request you to please address the participants.
Thank you, patrons, advisory board members, and organizing committee. I'm grateful to you for that warm introduction and for your enthusiasm and support for NICT. This FDP program exemplifies the commitment of DSBA Institute to the faculty community. The management and faculty members of this institution, under the leadership of the principal, has a bright future for the students of this institution. I am fully confident in this excellent FDP program, and the topic chosen is the need of the hour, especially during the pandemic situation. DSBA institution is aligned with vision in the most difficult times. Nothing can be more important than the FDPs. Today, the topic chosen is branding and web development for higher education institutions. This is an excellent topic. And here we talk about the branding, the meaning of it, the importance of branding, and goes on and on. We can talk for days and days together. I'm sure Mr. Ganesh, being an expert in the branding, will explain to you what branding is and the importance of branding. Next, after understanding the branding, we will start getting through an organization called as Crampit Pte Limited from Singapore, who has agreed to take us through the website development, the meaning of it, and what exactly today we talk about website development means all about. And today, the entire IT industry is talking about certain terminologies like full stack developer, what is full stack web designer, and so on and so forth. And I'm sure the Crampit and its team will take us through this full stack and what exactly it is, and what is the meaning of it, and what the IT industry is all talking about. So after understanding what is full stack web development and so on and so forth, we proceed next, building our own websites, responsive websites, using a simple and easy tools like HTML, CSS, and so on and so forth. So first we'll be learning with HTML. After learning the HTML tags and its importance, then we go on to CSS. What is CSS? What is cascading style sheets? How it is to be used? How we are going to create a responsive website, and so on and so forth. So we will also learn not only to create, and we'll also learn how to host our web page, upload it in the GitHub. In short, you will learn how to create a basic portfolio, a simple web page, and upload the same so that everybody can see it. I'm sure Mr. Dinesh Pradeep will be handling all the sessions about what is full stack and how to create HTML responsive websites and how to upload it on the GitHub. So he gives you a handling session on all this. So after the first day, in the next 3 days, he'll be handling all your training with respect to HTML and so on and so forth. So in other words, I'll say, after completing successfully this course, every participant will be issued a certificate from Crampit Pte Limited, Singapore. Then the students will learn what is internship, or they'll say, we will guide how the student has to gain internship in multinational companies, so that faculties can guide the students in a proper channel. So the faculties will be able to learn how to create a website, upload it, then also learn how to guide the students to get internships in multinational companies. And then after that, Mr. Supreet will be handling digital marketing, and he'll also be telling you how to market the concepts, what is digital marketing all about. After this, you will be followed with sessions on photography and web content writing. Okay. So this is what is going to take about all. So I thank one and all and wish all the success in this program. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Solomon.
Thank you, sir, for those heartwarming words and illuminating us with the concept note and the details of the FDP. Now it's my privilege to introduce our today's speaker, Mr. Ganesh Panchal, a self-expression catalyst. As a writer, editor of books, voiceover artist, and personal, and personal branding coach, he helps people and organizations express themselves and bring out their messages powerfully. While he works with a wide range of clients, his focus is on helping entrepreneurs, independent consultants, and senior corporate professionals. He's also a journalist and the author of a popular book, The Underrated CEOs, Fascinating Stories of Young Indians who became CEOs in their 20s. I heartily welcome you, sir, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Kirti. Thanks for that introduction. Hi, everybody. It's a wonderful morning, and I hope all of you have had a good morning so far. It's so nice to see all of us assembled here for the FDP. It's wonderful of Dayanand Institutions to have invited me. Thank you, Veena. Thank you, Solomon. Thanks for putting this together, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts, my perspective on branding with all of you. Branding is, of course, one of my passions, and another of my passions is also sharing the knowledge that I have, interacting with people like you. So I think I'm going to enjoy this session very much, and I hope you too will enjoy the session and learn a lot from it. I'll now just capture the essentials of branding in the context of website development. I think it's a very interesting subject that has been put together by the Institute. And why I'm saying that is, when I have been in the field of branding for about 20 years now, nearly 20 years. And I've worked with clients, helped organizations and people from different industries, including the educational sector. One of the things that I've always noticed is that in India, especially, and in many other markets, many other countries across the world, it is an area, a lacuna or a limitation or an area where institutions have to improve. And that is, how do you communicate what you are? So website branding is, I think, gaining importance, and it's becoming more and more important in the, with week after week, month after month. So choosing a topic like this is only going to help all of you and your respective institutions, educational institutions, understand how you can project yourself very well to the world outside. I think it's a very interesting and very topical theme that has been chosen for this. So again, I'm happy about that, and congrats to DSBA on this, the choice of this theme. It's very, very timely, very relevant going forward. So let's start by understanding what branding is first. Yes. Or maybe just a little before that, let me add to what Veena said about me. All right. So that you get a better flavor of what I do and who I am. I've been working for about 20 years now totally. And during this time, one of the things that we mentioned is my love for branding, my involvement in this field for the last 20 years, almost from the time I began my career. So I work with organizations as well as people and help them brand themselves better and communicate themselves better to their target audiences. Branding is a field that I've seen, as a practitioner, as a professional, change quite rapidly. See, every sector, every industry, every field is undergoing rapid change, with technology and in the internet related tools enabling or, catalyzing change. So it's happening faster and faster. The same has happened with branding and communication also. However, there is a critical difference. See, the principles of branding, the golden rules, call it the pillars, call it the essential principles, call it whatever you want, have not changed. Have not changed over what, nearly 150 years when this discipline, the modern discipline of branding was conceptualized or was founded. So from that time on, the principles of branding have not changed, which means what is the essence of great branding, what should be done and how that should be done has by and large not changed at all. What has been added or how the field has evolved is in the ways in which you can brand, in the ways in which you can communicate what your brand is about, the ways in which you can engage with your audiences. So those have changed and they will continue to change in the years to come. So this is the dynamic part of branding. But what's the static or the eternal, timeless part of branding? That is the principles or the foundational aspects of this field. And that's not changed, thankfully, for all of us. So what is branding? Can I ask you a question? This is a question. What do you understand by brand or branding? I invite replies from all of you. You can just type in, I think you can chat, right? There's a chat window here. I encourage you to please write back. So I'm waiting to see some responses. What is branding or what is a brand? What do you think it means? Kirti, I'm audible, right? Hello?
Yeah, you are audible, sir. You are audible.
Yeah, Solomon, you're there. Yeah. So can I see some responses? How can we see that, Solomon?
Yeah, through question and answer.
Yeah, Q&A.
Yeah, Q&A. Now I may, whatever they are typing, as a host, I will, as a moderator, I will inform, sir.
Sure.
There is a question it came. It's promoting ourselves.
Yeah, the first answer is promoting ourselves.
There is
Dr. Pooja Shashi says promoting self-made product.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, interesting. Other responses? It is an identification of company. Okay. Nice. Okay. Virendra says it's a logo or a symbol of a company. Okay. Shilpa has said it's an identity. Okay, any more responses? Come on. Is it Monday morning blues or what? Let's not be sluggish. Come, I'm expecting many more replies. Let's make this a really interesting session, and it will be interesting only if you also participate. Very nice. Okay. So Sharon Kamala says creating a name, symbol, or design that defines a company. True. Tulasi says improving the industries. Okay, interesting. Yes. Any more? I'll wait a minute or so that I can see some diversity of responses. Any others who want to venture an opinion? Sunil Kumar says it eases the people to recognize the company. Another person has said creating awareness. Okay. Creating demand in the minds of the customer. Fine. Right. All of you are answering or touching upon certain important aspects of branding. Very right. Absolutely right. Great. So all of you, like I said, have touched upon important aspects. But these are certain aspects of of what branding is. Let me start by telling you what the essence of branding is. Okay, so the essence of branding is. Let me give you an example. Let's take. There is next to my house. No, there is a neighborhood store. Yeah, there's a grocery store called Metro Stores. Okay. I love to talk about this example. I've done that a few times, certain seminars, and even written a chapter on these guys, and as I'm using them as an example. Metro Stores is a very simple neighborhood grocery store next to my house. It's a 5-minute walk from home. Now, I've been using them or going to them for the last 12 years, ever since I came to this locality. And during this time, whenever I've had to buy certain things immediately, on an urgent basis, I just hop across and buy them. So what is the convenience that a neighborhood store offers? So it offers convenience because it's very close by. Proximity is a big benefit that they offer. And then they offer, but however, the inventory of products is limited, right? It's not like a supermarket. So it's a small neighborhood grocery store. But I like this guy and I respect him a lot because I see that he has built a brand over the years. Now, this is a very undifferentiated market. By undifferentiated, I mean there are lakhs and lakhs of grocery stores all over India. Even in my neighborhood, there must be about 7 or 8 grocery stores. All of them offer pretty much the same format, the same kind of products by and large, right? So when you ask, what can I say to differentiate one grocery store from another, you'll be stunned. You'll be stumped for an answer. It's very difficult to do that. It's not like saying, how can I differentiate a soap, one brand of soap from another? Or how can I differentiate one brand of airline from another? So there, the points of differentiation are very clear and it's very easily possible to communicate those differences. But here, it is commoditized. What do they sell? All the grocery stores sell the same atta, dal, all the staples and various other things needed for home. But this guy still has made an impact in the residents of our area. And that's why I think I respect him as a brand in his own limited way. What has he done differently? He has understood that it's important to listen to the customer. All right. So he pays attention to every customer who comes to his counter, who comes to the shop. He listens to us, understands what we want. And if he doesn't have something on that particular day, something that we want, then he'll get it for us. Okay, he'll give us that assurance, sir, you please come tomorrow or 2 days later, and I will try to get it for you. I'll try my best, and usually he will get it for you. A. B. He listens to you, so he knows what I want. He doesn't take time, and he quickly attends to my needs. So what is the thing that happens when I go there? I'm finished with my work in about 10 minutes and I come out quickly, or even less than 10 minutes. Okay. So even if there's a crowd, he'll manage the crowd well. He'll ask people to queue up. He'll listen to every customer very attentively. So there is no need for repetition. There is no iteration. There's no confusion. And then he gets me my things. If he doesn't have a particular thing, he'll say, I'll get it for you tomorrow, or 5 days later or 3 days later. I say, okay, I walk out. Off late, even before COVID, okay, he's also started expanding his inventory because, and I'm saying, I think this started happening about 3 years ago, because he saw that e-commerce players were coming in. All right. So there's Flipkart and there's Amazon Pantry, Big Basket. All of these guys are there. They're all delivering stuff home. They are mighty players, well-funded companies. They have the might. versus a small grocery store, but in his own format, in his own way, he still reinvented himself a little bit. So he started taking orders on WhatsApp. He started, therefore, you can pre-order and you don't have to go there and order, right? So he'll have them delivered home, or you can go and collect them, but the waiting time is reduced. So there is added convenience. And he's a guy who will not forget that you've been a customer for X number of years. So there are many, many people who've been loyal customers of this place. Now, I want to start with this small example, and this is what I want you to understand, because the essence of branding is the same irrespective of your industry, your field, how old or young your enterprise is or your institution is, and irrespective of what you do. So if this guy has been able to make an impact in the minds of people like me, his customers, and then therefore we've become loyal customers for his enterprise, for his shop, he's a brand. There is nothing to say that tomorrow that a carpenter cannot build a brand, that a grocery store cannot build a brand. There are enough examples of people from all sorts of fields who built a brand because the principles are the same. So this guy, the thing that I like about him the most and what makes him a brand is, one, he listens very closely to customers. He makes sure that he caters to our convenience, and he gets things that I want, which I do not find in other grocery stores. So there is some point of differentiation between them and him. He's managed to set himself apart, and that is the essence of branding. You can extrapolate whatever I said to any other industry, any other organization of any size, and you will still, then you will be able to relate better. So if you were to do this for an educational institution, the point of branding is still the same. What is different about this particular entity? So a brand, please remember, and why I think the session for branding has been set up or scheduled right at the beginning is so that you understand this as your foundation and layer this with the various technical aspects of building a brand. Often when I started off, I said I said that this theme is very, very topical, right? And I said that it's a lacuna or a limitation today for educational institutions. And that's true. If you were to look around the universe of educational institutions in India and in many other countries, you will find that their websites do not conform or do not adhere to the principles of branding. There are many, many, many things that can be done better. So the power of the institute, what it is capable of and what it offers, unfortunately, does not come through. We should look at, a website. I look at it as similar to the window of a store. So remember the time when, even today, we do that, right? There are high streets, there are shopping markets, there are places in every city where there are lots of stores lined up. They could be fashion, they could be lifestyle, there could be sports goods, there could be anything else. Lots of showrooms. What do? People walk past, they look at, let's say, a dozen showrooms lined up one after another, or maybe 25 showrooms in a whole street or lined up one after another. What is the first thing about a store that grabs their mind, that grabs their attention? What is it? Can someone tell me? Can someone answer in the Q&A box? What is the first thing about a store that grabs your attention on a street? So imagine you're walking past many stores, right? You're walking on a road, on a high street. What will you see about a store first? About any showroom? Okay, I think Tulsi has said infrastructure. Is that what she said? Yeah, okay. Rupa Shri says name of the store, right? Yes. What else? I'll wait for one or two more replies. Hello, guys. Please chip in. Please type in, so that I know you're not going to sleep. So apart from the name of the store, what else about the store catches your eye first? Okay, so yeah, so the dean has said window display. Absolutely. And that's something that I was looking for. Correct. So the window display is the thing that you will first notice about a store, right? And then you see how well things have been arranged, what has been put up in that window. And very often especially for lifestyle goods, for products that are about sports, apparel, etc. You make up your mind whether I should go in or not. So think of any category of stores. The window display and the name board are the first things that grab our eyeballs. The website performs a similar function for your institution or for your organization. The website is your window. It is your window. It is the window for the world to look inside and say, hey, do I like this institute or not? This institute sounds compelling. Yeah? It looks very appealing. Let me just go inside and see what else do they have in offer. So what does a website or a store window do? It entices people, it promises them something, and then it gently pulls them inside. Okay, it has to grab their attention and say, hey, if you like what you've seen from the store window, and imagine this is just 20 or 30 square foot of space, if I can show you this much and appeal to your senses, if I can attract you from this, so come in and see what else I have. Chances are I'll have something excellent. I'll have something that will fit the bill for you, that you will find appealing and you may want to buy. Okay, so that's the promise of a store window. That is the promise of the website also. Or that's the role or the purpose of the website also. It's nothing but the store window. And in today's world, a website is very, very often the first port of call for someone who's seeking information about your institute. They look for references. They speak to other people who've studied in a particular institute. But very, very importantly, they will look at your website. Therefore, understanding the principles of branding and incorporating them, bringing them alive in the website is extremely important. Most cases in educational institutions in India and in many other countries, like I said, it's a lacune, right? Why is it a lacune? I'm saying, why is it something that they must improve on? Because I've run through many websites. They do not give me a clear impression of what that institute is about. If they don't give me a clear institute of what that shop is selling, how am I going to decide whether I'll come in or not? Invariably, I will decide, no, it doesn't interest me, and I will walk out. The same thing happens with many educational institutions. Even in advanced countries, you'll be surprised. It's not a question of geography. It's not a question of just the countries. It is a question of the mindset. If you have the right mindset and say, I must communicate my brand promise very clearly, then you can do it. But unfortunately, so far, it's something that is not caught up in the educational industry. I would encourage stakeholders, I'd encourage all of you to think very actively on this and act on this. So if you give that promise, then the person walks into the website, he's wowed by it, he or she would love to then attend an orientation program that you might be organizing, or he or she might just pick up the phone or send you an email. So a website, please understand, is a source of very critical information about your web institution, and it is a conversation starter. So people have to look at it, get a clear picture of what the university or the college or the school, whatever educational institution that is, and then say, okay, this looks promising. Can I get more information? Now, who can I speak to? Or what next? What is my next step supposed to be? So it is to pull them deeper into a conversation. It's a conversation starter. I'm just looking at a few other points that I've noted down on a notepad here. At this stage, let me just stop because I've spoken for, I think, about 15, 18 minutes. Do you have any questions at this point of time? Broad basics of branding, the essence of branding, and I have some more information to share with you. But for whatever I've spoken so far, do you have any questions? It's good to pause for a couple of minutes. If you have questions, please shoot. You can ask me questions, type in any time. So if you have questions right now, I thought it will be good to pause and take stock before I move on. Otherwise, you can keep posting questions as and when they occur to you. That's not a problem at all. And I'll anyway take a look at them later. Solomon is also there.
Hello, Mr. Ganesh. Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
You're talking about any branding activity as the start of the conversation.
Yes.
Now we get to see a lot of variations made by different brands and companies with respect to their logo and color. They try to change the color with an attempt that it brings in a lot of visibility, or they make a different a particular type of a brand, logo, again thinking that it brings in a type of a extended visibility and so on and so forth. So in that context, how do you bring that idea into picture, the logo and the color part of it? Maybe you can choose to answer now, or maybe after your present discussions over, you can choose to answer that.
Okay, definitely. So you mean you're asking me about the importance of the logo, color, and the design, right?
Yes.
The colors, correct?
Colors, how colors can play an important role, and also the logo part of it. How can it play an important role? Of course, how do we connect it to website when we are making a website? Right. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yes, I've jotted it down as one of the points that I will talk about later. I'll answer that. Okay, any other question at this point of time? Nothing, I think. I can't see any other questions. Great. So let me move on. See, often this kind of answers Veena's question also, but one part of her question, one part of her answer. See, very often what many organizations do is to jump into the manifestations of what a brand is, external manifestation, visible manifestations, including the colors to be used, or the design of a website, or the design of a brochure, or any other marketing material, the logo. So these are things that are actually consequences of a little bit of thinking, a little bit of research, and scientific thinking have to be undertaken first before we come to these things, because I look at these as outputs or outcomes of a certain process. So these are the visible manifestations of a brand. What colors to be used, and what should the logo be? What even what is the tagline? What should that be? Stuff like that. The basic questions that we ask, research, and get the answers for. I'm saying three things. First of all, ask the questions to yourselves, introspect, research amongst stakeholders, amongst your target audience, find out the answers to this, and then arrive at the outcome of what a brand is, then come to the external or visible manifestations like various, like the logo, the tagline, and the marketing collaterals, the design of all of that. So first of all, start by understanding who your target audience is. All right. And I'm kind of giving you a very simplified essence of the branding process, or what should the branding process achieve. A, it should tell you who your core target audience is. Let's take educational institutions. There are many, thousands of them, millions of them across the world. In Karnataka itself, there'll be thousands of them. Even colleges, even within colleges, even if you look at business academies or business schools, there'll be thousands of them. So in every category and subcategory of education, there are a large number of players, organizations, right? Now, who is your particular institution going to target, or who do you want to target? That is the first question that must be asked, researched, and answered. So do you want to target business students? If it's a business academy, yes, prospective business students. If it's a multi-purpose higher learning academy, there could be students coming in for different streams, because the institute may offer various disciplines in various streams. It could be something to do with nanotechnology. It could be something focused on aerodynamics. It could be something focused only on robotics, right? There could be specializations. So certain institutes are multi-purpose or general institutions, whereas certain others are very specialized. And by specialized, I don't just mean something like a broad domain like business administration. I mean, even within that, it's possible to carve out subspecialties and sub-niches. So depending on this, you have to understand who the core target audiences of the institute are going to be. I'll take an example. Okay, there is an institute called INSEAD. Some of you may have heard of it, or all of you may have heard of it. I don't know. But INSEAD is a very popular, very respected global institution. It's an academy of learning. It's a college. It's a university. You can call it whatever you want. I'll say it's an academy of learning. All right, INSEAD, INSEAD, headquartered in France, but it has learning centers across the world. One of them is in Singapore also, and they conduct programs across these centers for people from all over the world. Their target audience, what they offer, they are focused on leadership. So when I said the discipline and the sub-discipline or the niche, this is what I mean. In the vast category of higher education, there is business education. Within business education, there are many possibilities or many streams possible. One of them that they have chosen to focus on is leadership. All right, leadership for a global audience. And they are focused on people who already have work experience, because they found that there is a need for this. There is a gap in the market. There aren't enough good institutions which offer leadership education, leadership learning, so that organizations need leaders, right? But who's going to shape them? Can an educational institution play a role? Can they help shape the leaders of an organization? So they said, yes, let us serve that need. So we will bridge that gap. So INSEAD's approach and focus and all are completely centered on this aspect. So coaching or training, shaping the leadership talent for a global audience. That's all they do. And because they're talking only about leadership, all their programs are about leadership. The website talks about that, and it brings out, the nuances of what it means to be a leadership learning academy for a global audience. It's as simple as that. They have not confused the audience. They have not gone into other areas. Then it becomes very cluttered, right? So they've maintained focus. So for them, this is the audience. So therefore, when you look at their website or any of their programs, MDPs, their collateral, their content, whatever they put out, the focus will be on talking to leaders, prospective leaders and current leaders. So middle level onwards, of mid-management onwards, upwards is what they focus on. Especially, in fact, they prefer to talk only to senior management. Because after the CXO level, CEO, CTO, CIO, CFO, after that level, the next level needs to step up. And organizations have to invest in leadership training all the time. So INSEAD talks to that level and says, hey, I can help you mold the leadership skills of your company. All right. So that's their philosophy, that's their approach, and that's the target audience. Which is, so coming back to my point, identify who the core target audience of your institution is going to be. After that, branding is very simple. All right. It's possibly made out to be very complicated, but it's not. It will have to answer these 4 questions, the questions that I'm going to tell you now. It has to communicate the brand identity clearly. All right, that's the idea. 1, who am I? So who am I? Second question is, what can I do for you? Please build the linkage in your mind as I'm talking. All right, all these 4 questions taken together will complete the picture of what a brand is for the audience. And that is what we have to reflect through the website also. Who am I? What can I do for you? That's the second question. What can I do for you? What's the third? The third question is, why choose me? All right. Who am I? What can I do for you? Why choose me? And what's my personality? That's it. Along with what I said about the target audience, identification of target audience is step number 1. After that, if you can just answer these 4 questions clearly and convincingly, you've cracked it. All right. Like I said, branding is made out to be this and that, and there's a lot of hype about it. There's a lot of confusion in that. People make it out to be some great, complicated thing. But no, I would love to move away from complexity. I would love to understand just the essence and give it to you. If you were to just do a good job of answering these questions and reflecting them on the website, I think you would have achieved a very large purpose of the website. You would have made a fantastic website. Of course, I'm keeping technical aspects aside. But the fundamental purpose of a website, like I said, is that window, right? You're the window to the store. You're a conversation starter. You have to pull people in. You have to convey what the institute stands for. If you do these things well, you would have done that job very well. So let me repeat. Identify your core target audience. Then answer these questions. Who am I? What can I do for you? By I mean, of course, the institute. What can I do for you? Why choose me? What's my personality, or what kind of a brand I am? So brands are very similar to people. So the personality of a brand is similar to the personality of a person. So what's my personality? That's it. You will find that websites that communicate this leave you with a certain. Yeah. Hello. Did I hear somebody?
Yes. I'm Veena again. Can you help us clarify the differentiating responses to these 2 questions, especially the question number 1 and the question number 4? When we're answering who am I, What could be the thought process behind answering that question, and what is my personality? What could be the thought process for answering this question?
Yes, yes.
How do we
Definitely.
differentiate the answers for these questions?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Definitely. One second. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. So I'll use the word, the example of INSEAD itself. All right. So because I've started speaking about it. Here, who am I is just about talking about what kind of institute you are. Okay. What is the kind of college or institute this is? So it can talk about just the domain. It can give a hint of the field that you're operating in. What is it that you do? What is the field of education that you operate in? So in INSEAD's case, it will be leadership. All right. It will be organizational leadership. By the way, there is an Indian school also, Indian college. You can look up the website later. It's called School of Indian Leadership or Inspired Leadership, SOIL, SOIL. That's the Indian kind of equivalent of INSEAD because they also focus on building leadership talent, shaping them for organizations. So INSEAD's who am I is, I'm a business development school. I'm not using their exact words, but this is a rough idea from what I've gathered from them. So I'm a global business school that focuses on leadership development. All right, leadership development for organizations. That is the who am I. So it gives me a flavor of what kind of institute that is. When I move to the next question, I'm sharpening my brand identity by saying what I can do for you. What is the benefit that I offer to you? So here I would say, for instance, could be something like in these times of I offer multidisciplinary programs that help shape the leadership talent in your organization for the years to come. All right. So I have mentioned multidisciplinary programs. If I have an integrated learning approach, I can mention that. So I will use these methods to give you or to help you shape your leadership talent for the years to come. All right. So that is the benefit. And leadership development, as we noticed, and as I said earlier, is a big gap in the market. Many organizations need that, and they're struggling to cope with that very important challenge. So the answer to this question comes from the identification of that challenge or the need in the market. What can I do for you? So I help you shape leadership talent or grow your leadership or leadership skills. We could, look at which exact words to use, but I'm giving you just a broad flavor for the years to come. Why choose me? All right. Why choose me is now a very sharp, it needs a very sharp answer again, because it is further differentiating my brand from other schools that might be offering leadership development or that might be offering leadership education. There could be a handful of other colleges that do the same. So between these five, why should you choose me? So here the answers should in fact start with or have this element of I'm the only one. I'm the only institute that does blah, blah, blah is the nature of the answer to this question. So I'm the only institute that has successfully developed leaders for 40 different industries over the last 20 years. Or if I want to choose particular industries to highlight, I could do that. Or I might want to choose the kind of companies that I've helped develop or supply, place my leadership talent. So because these are people who are senior executives working somewhere, and then they do this MDP at my institute and go back, right? They are not freshers. So, and this is not a full-time residential course. They continue to hold their job somewhere. They take leave in between to come or go on a sabbatical. They take permission from the office, come attend my programs and go back. So they are full-time employees somewhere. So I must keep that in mind. So why choose me? I'm the only institute that focuses on training leadership for a global business environment. That is option A. Option B, even better, is if I can give a track record in that, why choose me in the answer. So I'm the only business school that has supplied or that has helped develop leadership skills for 100 of the Fortune 500 organizations. So answers like that are what help differentiate your organization or your institute from the others in the market. Veena, have I come through? Is this clear?
Yes.
That answers your question. No, about this. Good. Okay. Right. Final aspect is about the personality. Personality is very, what do you say? Like I said, there are very strong parallels between brands and people. And in fact, practitioners, what we do is we draw this parallel in conversations. We make a brand think, feel, and behave similar to a human being. Okay, that is one of the attempts that every brand manager always is involved in. So how do you humanize a brand is a question that we always ask ourselves. If this brand were a person, who would that brand be? What kind of person would that brand be? So would it be a very dashing, there are all kinds of men. Let me talk of men. So there are all kinds of men, very dashing, handsome, flamboyant kind of men. There are the quiet, introverted types. There are the geeky types, very, very intelligent, above average IQs, very geeky, very nerdy, with a research-oriented bent of mind. So there are that kind of people also. There are people who are very, very social, very gregarious. So these are all ways in which we describe people. They are adjectives, they are qualifiers that we use when we talk of people. Similarly, we need qualifiers to talk when we talk of a brand also. So let's take the example of an INSEAD again. Okay, what if INSEAD is a human being? Imagine the kind of school that I've described to you so far and the kind of work that it does. If that kind of, if this brand were a human being, what kind of person would that brand be? So that brand, what comes to my mind is very globally exposed, all right, very widely traveled, well aware of the trends across the world, business trends across the world. He is, or she, that person himself or herself is a leader. So when I think of INSEAD, I think of a leader. Okay, it's a leader brand. It's a person that embodies, behaves like a leader. So there is authority, there is knowledge, there is thought leadership. They do the right things, and other people look up to this person. All right. So that's the personality that I get in mind when I think of INSEAD, because they have shaped the brand like that. So what personality can your brand take is a question that has to be debated and answered. What kind of an institute do you want to portray to the world? Is it a very geeky, research-oriented institute? Is it a very lab-focused institute? Is it an institute which is populated or which thrives on ideas? Is it an institute for the global population? Is it an institute for the local population? Do I have deep understanding of a particular subject, or am I a generalist? So these are all questions that can be asked and answered, and they can form the definition or the personality of the brand. So the answer will comprise adjectives and qualifiers that give your audience a feel of what kind of life can I expect in the company, in the institute? What kind of learning, what kind of approaches can I expect? All right. So a Harvard is very different from an INSEAD, which is very different from University of Chicago, which is very different from an Indian Institute of Management, IIM Bangalore or IIM Calcutta. All of these are reputed institutes, but they all have different personalities. So personality is unique. You can decide what kind of personality you have to give to your institute brand. All right. So I'm going to pause now here. I love taking stock. I love summarizing because I think it drives home the lessons more effectively. I don't want to keep droning on and on. So what did I speak of in the last 20 minutes? Can someone just answer, send me some responses? What are some of the highlights of what I said in the last 20 minutes? I spoke about target audience and then the brand identity. I gave you 4 separate specific questions to be answered. Can you mention what these are? Just tell me whatever you've learned, whatever is stuck to your mind, whatever you've understood.
Yeah, at this point of time, I would like to have faculty members participating from other institutions also to respond and also be active on the discussion mode. Thank you.
Yeah, otherwise I won't have fun, yeah, and neither will you. Please. Fun only happens when people participate. Let's talk. So I'm very eager to know what I've said, what is stuck in your minds. What have you taken out? What makes sense to you? Are you able to relate to whatever I've said so far, keeping your institute in mind?
Yeah, I think the most important point which you have brought out is that firstly, what you look at when you walk across through a street, you are looking for there are lot of shops, but your eyes goes to a particular thing, a particular shop, because of certain kind of window dressing or the logos or kind of things which are in display or the name of the brand. That is what is taking you there. And then you come to the next issue of the core target, keeping the core target audience. How do you brand yourself? So you have to look into the target population which you are looking at.
Yes.
Because we are concerned, most of it is the students and the parents. Okay.
Correct.
So, and how do you brand? It's based on those 4 important questions which you can answer.
Yes.
That is, who am I? That's what is the domain or what is the field in which I am working? Okay. And what can I do for you? What can you expect from my organization? Which is different, how different I am from others. Okay. What I'll do. Okay. What is the leadership qualities and what are the things which I will be able to put across to you is the second question.
Right.
And why choose me? Why choose me? Because I'm different from others. I'm delivering things in a different manner or in a better fashion than the run of the mill.
Right.
And what is my personality? The 4th question, if you can answer, then I think the brand, I would say you have reached somewhere, at the tip of the iceberg as to the branding is concerned.
Right. So if you answer these questions well, you have, no, in fact, I just differ from you in only one aspect. You would have done much more than the iceberg, sir.
Iceberg,
you would have got the essence or the foundation of the brand right. And
I would say I would have touched the foundation of the brand. Fine.
Correct. Yes.
I would say I would have hit the time.
Absolutely. On the contrary, if you were to just design a very nice logo and come up with a good catchline, then you can say that I've only touched the tip of the iceberg, whereas my foundation is very shaky.
Correct.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yes. So it evolves. Everything else that we do will evolve from this. And thank you so much for answering. You've captured, I think, the essence of it. Thank you. Yes, but anybody else? I think Sharon Kamala has typed something. Understood the importance of branding for a product or a place and the main 4 essential questions. Thank you. Very good. Anyone else? Yeah, you can speak. If anyone else wants to speak, if you don't want to chat, you can just talk. That's also fine. Sultana has asked a question. What leadership qualities does organization expecting?
Ganesh,
yes, sir.
The attendees, they cannot talk.
Okay. Sure.
They can share through messages.
Okay. Then they have to type in. Okay. I think that was very well explained or captured. So we can move on now. All right?
One statement or the question which is asked, Ms. Sultana has asked about what leadership qualities does organization expecting? Is it from the brand perspective or otherwise? If you can make it a little clear, I think our resource person should be able to answer that question as well. Sultana, can you please re-articulate your question? Or Mr. Ganesh, would you like to answer based
No,
on what you understand?
I also
question?
want that clarity. I had the same question in mind, so I'm waiting for her answer. Sultan Asi, what leadership qualities does organization expecting is a little unclear. Are you saying what leadership qualities is an organization expecting? If so, from whom do you mean? Expecting from whom? That's not clear. Or do you mean something else? Can you just reword your question, please? So while she does that, anyway, that's not pertinent to this particular point where I've stopped. Okay, so I will resume and then we can always look at the question again. She spoke, but she's answered. Brand perspective. What leadership qualities does organization? Are you saying what leadership qualities does an organization expect from the brand perspective? But expect from whom is my question to you. Otherwise, the organization doesn't expect anything, any leadership qualities. So whose expectations are you talking about and from whom? Okay, so while she types, let me just move forward and others can also chip in with your questions in the meanwhile, right? So far, what have we achieved? We've understood the essence or the foundations of branding. The purpose, first of all, I started by telling you what the lacuna in the educational industry website, that whole thing is. Then we spoke about the importance of a website, the role of a website in the overall scheme of things. Then we spoke about what branding itself means or what does a good brand stand for. I spoke about my neighborhood grocer's example, and I said that the principles of branding have not changed in the 150 years of this discipline. The modes of communication and the various other tools have evolved. Those have changed, but the pillars have not. Then we went on to talk about understanding the core target audience and identifying or articulating the brand identity clearly. The brand identity essentially contains just 4 questions. Who am I? What can I do for you? Why choose me? And what personality do I have? Okay, so we've come so far. Great. Now I'm going to speak specific to websites, all right, with this as the background. Getting a little deeper into the nuances of branding in a website. A huge problem, and I'm stating this very openly in a very constructive manner, and this is a lesson for all of us to take back and work on, is that today the educational sector, the communication in this sector is riddled with cliches. All right, and I say this with no bias. There's no judgment here. I'm only saying that it is an area for all of us to work together, for stakeholders to work together. And if each institute can think about this and do something, you will only benefit. The institute benefits. So there are a lot of cliches, there are a lot of repetitive phrases, there is a lot of jargon. You will see that there is so much in common from the website of one institute to another, to another, to another. So if I can take some 10, 15 different websites, at random, and if I can, from the same educational discipline, of course, if I were to compare schools, then I will compare that with websites of other schools. So schools to schools, colleges to colleges, and within that also, I will choose institutes from within the same discipline. After doing all that, if I look at a dozen websites, I open them up on my browser, I will find a huge level of commonality. Similar words, similar sounding text, similar visuals, all that, right? So one of the first things that we need to do is to get away from cliches, get away from repetitive stuff, find something new, find something different to say. Which is why I'm saying, why do you think there is so much of commonality? Now, having heard me out for so long, you will now understand one of the biggest stumbling blocks. You know what the biggest stumbling block of most educational institutions is? It is the fuzziness in understanding what they stand for. They themselves do not understand what their brand stands for. There is no clear definition or there's no clear articulation. If you don't have that, and by this I mean those 4 questions only, the target audience and the 4 questions. If you've not done that bit first, But if you've set up a website, if you've got your social media handles, if you've got a logo and all that, no, it's like putting the cart before the horse. So the correct way of doing this is to work on the brand identity first, and then clarity will emerge automatically. If the work has been done well, if the questions are answered sharply, then you don't have to borrow stuff that has been used by other institutions. You don't have to write on somebody else's images or content or whatever. It's a problem with the entire sector, all right? I'm not singling out institutions here. It's a big problem. I think institutions can do well by sharpening their understanding of what their brand is. Immediately they will find that the rest of the process becomes far easier, far smoother. They will be able to stay away from cliches, and they will authentically be able to say, look, this is what my institute stands for. This is what I offer. This is why you should come to me. That clarity comes from answering those first questions. All right. So staying away from cliches, saying something that is special and different about you is important. This has to be reflected in a website. A website, like many of you may know here, because I think you are, I don't know, you're exposed to various aspects of it. It has the developmental aspect and the design or the creative aspect. All right. The development is the technical aspect. The design or the creative aspect includes design as well as the content. All right. So I'm now focusing on the creative aspect, which is where the reflection of the brand has to come through. The brand has to be brought alive in every section of the website, on every page of the website. Okay. So the choice of visuals, the choice of images that go there, the kind of text that has to come, the tone of voice of that text, in what tone are you writing it? All of these are creative questions that have to be dealt with during the process of ideation. So when you talk of the creative aspect of your website, you must make sure that this, through design and through copy, this enlivens the brand. This part, if it is done properly first, then the technical aspects come in later. So that is anyway a separate part where you have coding, you have social media, you have keywords, you have all sorts of interfaces, you have plugins, all of that is there. But what is the food that you're going to give the website? The website breathes and lives as an organism. Okay, it has to be, who gives it life? It is the design, it is the visuals, it is the content that gives it life. These have to breathe life into a website. This is what makes it vibrant. This is what makes the website reflect the brand's essence. All right. So stay away from cliches, saying something that's unique or special to your brand, and making sure that you say that in a very creative kind of fashion through content, through the use of colors, and through the design is important. The other thing that is important is when I speak of content, it's great to have multi-dimensional content. All right. Very often I find content that is unidimensional, which again is common to many institutes. There's the same pattern being followed. So there is, who are we, the number of disciplines that I offer, number of programs that I offer, alumni records, corporates, companies, all of that is there. Yes. So all of these are important for the target audience. But if you put yourself in the shoes of the target audience, really think for them, all right? Let's say their parents, the students that you want to attract, and their parents who also help make the decision, they will love to hear. And we're talking about a very contemporary kind of audience today, all right? It's not people who were looking for a college 10 years ago, not people who are looking for a college 20 years ago. So how do you look for a college? How do you make that decision? What do you look for? Are all changing year after year, very subtly, they are changing. So we have to keep our finger on the pulse of the market, pulse of our target audience, and see how are they gathering information about colleges, about educational institutions. What kind of questions do they want answered? This has to be part of our thought process and our website creation process. So our website has to then supply those answers to various degrees as much as possible. The most important questions have to be dealt with on the website. And therefore, what I mean to say is, in terms of sitemap, in terms of navigation, in terms of content, the website has to focus. We have to say, look, I'm not going to clutter my website. I don't want to answer too many questions on the website. I will focus on the most important 20 questions. I'm just firing off a number. All right. So when a prospective parent and a child and her parent comes, and they will be talking to or considering some 5 other institutes or a dozen other institutes, what is their information gathering process? What are the questions that are top of their mind, most important? And I will focus on answering those through my website. So this brings in some clarity to the website development team, to the people whoever is involved in developing it, to all the teams. This may include designers and copywriters, content writers, animators. It could include all of these people. They are essential for developing a very vibrant website. This will give them clarity, give them some direction in saying, okay, these are going to be my fields. I'm not going to talk about all other fields. So the content, it'll be great if it's sharp, if it's focused to the needs, the topmost needs of the target audience. If it is multidimensional, okay, that's another big plus. You can differentiate, set apart your institute by giving them a richer feel, by giving your audience a richer feel of your institute. Like I said, again, move away from repeating things that others have said. You can look at a very different format for yourself. Bring in videos, bring in animated stuff. By multidimensional, what do I mean? I mean all this. Multidimensional in terms of type of content. It doesn't have to be just text and images. It can be animated stuff. It can be videos. It can be other stuff also. You can have a blog there. You can even host a podcast. Your institute can actually host a podcast. If you run that and host it on your website, that will be a big value add for your audience. So multidimensional in that way. Multidimensional in another way also. Multidimensional content. When I say that, how many stakeholders are you involving in creating this website? Where do you source your content from? It's one thing, some of that content can be written by professional content writers or by somebody, who's good at content writing. Yes, but who's a professional who will do it for your institute. You may have to hire them, and that's absolutely fine. That's important. Beyond that, do you involve your current students? Do you involve faculty members? Is the management of the school, the promoters, management, are they involved? Are your companies, the companies where you place your students, at least a few of them, are they involved in the content creation process? Do you have your alumni involved in it, right? Imagine what kind of a rich, vibrant, multi-dimensional site you create if you get viewpoints, articles, blogs, a little bit of, some videos. If you get content from all of these guys, it completely changes the texture, it completely changes the tone and the impression that is created by a website, right? I hope you're able to relate to what I'm saying. So this is something that I think the education sector has to move forward. You should look at this. I would strongly encourage you to do this. Another aspect is the tone of voice. Tone of voice, again, is a creative call, so I don't want to really discuss that too much. That involves a lot of factors. But essentially, does the tone of voice mirror the personality of your brand? Content can be written in so many different styles, right? Content usually, again, in most academic institutions, educational institutions, it is written in a slightly academic kind of way, all right? But can that change? Can you write in the language of your target audience? Becomes another critical requirement. So can I mirror their frustrations? Can I mirror their questions? Can I mirror their mood? Can I mirror their behavior? So you're writing to, let's say, writing for the benefit of a child or a student who is 18 years old or 16 years old, 17 years old today, who wants to step into college next year. All right. So that's your main audience and their parents. So can you reflect their concerns, their questions, and bring that into your content? That's what I mean by saying tone of voice. Can it be very friendly? Can it be customized to your target audience? So that's another important aspect. Other than this, the couple of, I'll quickly move through these other points. Today, it's very, very important to integrate your website with various other communication tools. All right. So far, we spoke about the website, reflecting your brand, enlivening your brand, giving them a promise, telling them what the institution is all about, what it offers, and what kind of education my child will get or I will get. This much is the core purpose of your website, right? That we've established. But just making a website and leaving it there serves no purpose. A website should be seen in the context of communication. How can I leverage this now? A website is your principal or chief brand asset. All right, one of the chief brand assets. Look at these as assets of your brand. Just like a brochure is an asset, a website is an asset, an event or a seminar or anything else that you conduct, including this FDP, this is an asset of the Dayanand Sagar Business Academy. Can you create similar business assets elsewhere? So we talk of social media, right? Social media is critical. I'm not going to talk about that at all. I want to, however, establish a linkage between the website and your social media communication tools. Very often, you find the website existing in isolation, and social media tools are taking off on their own. So first of all, many educational institutions do not have vibrant social media communication, a proper strategy for that, and a proper plan for social media communication throughout the year. That has to be put in place. But that can't operate in isolation from the website. The website can't operate in isolation from that. One is the result of the other, or one is linked with the other. Let me say they all go hand in hand, and they're part of the entire entity, which is your institute, which is your brand. All of them are just mirroring your brand, or helping your brand interact with your audiences outside. So they have to be in sync. There has to be cohesion between all of them. So you've created a website. When you create a website, of course, when you involve the experts in development in the technical aspects, they will advise you on the keywords to be used and how to integrate this for, make it indexable. How do you make it SEO friendly, search engine optimization friendly? Those aspects are there when you build the website, right? So the contents may have to carry certain keywords and stuff like that. Then tagging has to be done, meta tagging has to be done. All that is there. Once the website is created, please make sure that you integrate it effectively with your social media handles, which means that whatever you put on LinkedIn, let's say that you're present in LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, all right, and Twitter. Maybe I'll take these for example. The content that you put up on all these 4 channels has to be very often taken from your website, which means keep updating the website, keep uploading articles and content snippets on your website, and then promote the links on social media. What does it do? By clicking on those links, or by clicking on a video or any other textual link, you can drive traffic back to your website. So that has to be one of your principal goals of social media. When you draw a social media strategy, it's not just about coming to your LinkedIn page and staying there. It is not about just coming to your Twitter page and staying there, Twitter handle. No. How often can you drive traffic? The same guy who comes to your Twitter handle, can you push him to your website? The girl who comes to your LinkedIn page, can you push her to your website? This has to be a driving factor to your social media strategy. So that way, what you do is you increase traffic to your website, and why not? That's brilliant, right? So they come to the website, which is your chief brand asset, I repeat, which is a repository of a lot of vital information about your brand, which captures your brand promise very effectively. So get more and more people there. So when your website can have a blog section, right? So whenever a faculty member or a student or an alumni or anybody, they write a blog, you upload it there, you will post a link on social media. So they click on the link, come to the blog. Once they're in the blog, they look at other sections of the website and say, hey, can I look at these other sections? Can I see what programs they have? So integration of social media handles pages with your website is very important. Yes. Linked to the same point, keep uploading. See, a website, like I said, is a living organism, like living, breathing organism, very dynamic. It has to change, mirror trends that are happening outside. It has to change, therefore, evolve year on year, month, once in 6 months. So that gradual process of evolution is constant. As you do that, please ensure that you make content that is shareable for social media. So which means, again, I'm talking about this interlinkage. If you were to think of these two, social media and your website, as isolated buckets, this can't work. But think of them as entities that talk about your brand, all of them together in cohesion, and then you will realize how you can do this. So when I put on update content on my website, one of the things we must ask ourselves is, how social media friendly is this? So can I have, instead of having long videos there, see, let's say we did a faculty development program, right? Or we did a day-long seminar. The content or the video footage for that would come to 8 hours, 9 hours, 6 hours. But how can I repurpose that into social media friendly content? So can I take out 20-minute snippets of that, add subtitles to it, give it a little bit of music, package it differently, and can I post it on social media? It may not be even 20 minutes long. It can even be 3 minutes long, right? Social media timelines, attention spans are all very, very short. So how friendly can I repurpose this content for social media? How can I do this? Should be a question we should ask constantly. The website, the maintenance people, the team that is maintaining the website. I'm not talking just about the developmental aspect, but like I said, somebody from the institute has to be the custodian of the website. And this custodian or this team that maintains the website from the institute has to think about it. How can I keep updating vibrant social media friendly content on this? And then can I plug that content into my Twitter, my LinkedIn, my Facebook? That's important. Yes, I think a couple of other aspects before I stop and then we can take questions. Ultimately, for education, thought leadership is critical. So when I spoke of brand identity earlier, and we know that what the brand stands for, in your field, in your subspecialization, in your niche, please try to build thought leadership. It'll be great if the website doesn't just talk about the institute or the process, the programs, the fees, and all of that. When I said make it multidimensional, make the content rich, make it very vibrant, make it very market friendly, I also meant include the thought leadership aspect in it. Think of it. How can I tell the world that my institute is a leader in thinking about this field, the field that I've chosen to be in? So if I choose leadership as my area, or even business administration as my area, let it be slightly broader, it doesn't matter. If business administration, business management is my field, how can I display my understanding of this? Because I don't want my institute to be considered very academic, right? Textbookish, you might call it. That's not the feeling that you want to give the world. You want to be a market-friendly, dynamic, practically oriented institute. That's what people look for. So one way of doing that is to set up a blog on the website. You can even set up vlogs, that is VLOG, the video version of a blog, or it could be textual as a blog. You can have those different stakeholders that I mentioned earlier come and chip in content. That kind of content will have its own flavor. Imagine an alumnus who passed out of your institute, worked elsewhere for 6 years or 20 years or whatever, he or she, a set of alumni, they write content. Imagine the kind of richness that will have, and see what it does for the image of your brand. Similarly, if your senior faculty write, that carries a different flavor. If management writes, that has a different flavor. So can I bring in a deep understanding of my field, and can I portray that through my website? That's very, very important. The other ways of demonstrating thought leadership are, of course, conducting events, that are focused on future specific topics, niche topics. Events apart, we're now all of us talking about the website, right? So I'm saying, how can you enrich thought leadership through your website? Please think about that. I've given you a few ideas. Websites have to be always current and updated. Another limitation that we have across India, across the world, many institutes don't do this, but I think it's really, really important. So a dedicated custodian team that can take the onus of looking at the website, having monthly reviews. It need not change very often, I'm talking about when you have a website ready. Let's say you prepare or create a website today. Immediately, please sit down, appoint a custodian team, and then this team has to formulate a plan for the website and social media for a year, for the next 12 months. All right. So this has to be a one-time effort, a thought-through process. If you do this well, then you have no confusion. You have complete clarity. There are content buckets identified. You know what's going to come up in the month of August, September, October, etc. The content plan has been created month on month. So the custodian team, as well as whoever other professionals you hire to work on the website, they all have clarity on this. Institute management has clarity on this, right? It's important for them to know. So it'll be great if you can follow this method or this approach. So have a custodian team. This ensures that the website is integrated with social media handles in terms of communication and prepares a communication calendar or plan for 12 months. Once you prepare the calendar, start rolling it out, executing it, but keep reviewing it every month. So then when you have a plan in place, I think a once a month review is more than enough. Once in a quarter or once in 6 months, you might have a more detailed review. But once a month, if you see that most things are okay, you just need to tweak a few things, make some course corrections, that helps you do that. All right. So that's another important thing. The last point I want to leave you with is the importance of a brand manual. So when you identify what your brand identity is, who your target audience is, all that, you have to create a brand manual. These aspects are all codified or written down somewhere so that it's not gray. Otherwise these things just hang in the air, and that there are a lot of the communication gaps that may occur later. Your understanding of the brand may be different from my understanding. You have to prevent all this from happening. And the best way to do that is to create a brand manual. Prepare that. In that, you will put down these questions and the answers. You will put down the color codes. You will put down the color palette, the design templates that are possible, usage of logo, in what context and how can the logo be used, the do's and don'ts for the use of the logo, all that. There are established formats for that. So you can get a brand manual prepared and keep that handy. That's your reference for all points of time. So whoever works on the website, be that to add copy, add videos, add whatever, or come in for designing, they have to look at the brand manual and ensure that their work adheres to this. So the brand stays on course. Otherwise, what happens is people come, people go. Your understanding may be different from my understanding. So all sorts of subjectivity comes in. And I've seen this in every industry, not just the education sector, but it's a big problem. Okay, so solving that by using a brand manual and referring to it will really make your life easier. So I'll just stop here for now and let's take questions. I hope I've given you a broad understanding of branding and its relevance to the websites and the integration, the nuances and all that. And so whatever I could have spoken in, let's say 2 days, I've tried to compress and give you the distilled essence of it. All right. So with this understanding, you should be able to get started at least. So questions, thoughts, any reactions, please? I'm all yours.
Ganesh, I do have one question. What metrics are important as a brand manager? Hello.
Okay. Yeah, I'm hearing you. On the online front, there are a few parameters, and ultimately in the business end, there are a few parameters. So ultimately, when you look at branding, I will link it with communication. So we talk of them in the same breath. Okay. So if communication is not effective and if it doesn't go according to a strategy, then the very good branding effect may be futile. It won't help you at all. As far as the core branding is concerned, if you were to answer these questions, create a website and do a dipstick. Okay, I would recommend that. Do a dipstick, give a preview to a few people, get their responses to what their understanding is. Give them these 4 questions and tell them to answer those 4 questions. All right. Look at the responses that come in, and if there is commonality, if all of them have understood it close to the way you want them to understand, then this aspect of the branding of the website, or indeed the entire branding effort, has been successful. So the minute you create a website, you please give it out, show the link to about 15 different people, not connected with your institute. There should be diverse people, preferably from your core target audience. Get responses. They won't be metrics, but this is a way to test the robustness of your website. Okay, how clearly it's bringing out your brand. That's the branding or the core communication part of the website. Then when you come to using the website as a brand asset, integrating it with social media, etc., then there are different social media metrics that come into play. You will have to look at medium to medium. It may change a little bit, Twitter to LinkedIn to Facebook, etc. But by and large, you look at followers there, number of followers. You look at levels of engagement for each post that you put in there, and you can figure out an average kind of level of engagement, the number of comments, the number of shares, the number of likes, etc. the engagement. By engagement, I mean something deeper than liking. Engagement has to be about commenting, sharing, where there is deeper involvement from the audience. So those are metrics that are important for social media communication. Have I answered your question? So there are two kinds of ways in which you should measure response, is what I mean to say. Have I given you an indication? Hello, I'm not hearing anything. Hello?
Yeah, yes,
Yes,
Ganesh.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, I hope I've answered your question. That's all I meant.
Yeah. Yes, Ganesh.
Ganesh, I have another question.
Right.
Hello,
Yes.
Ganesh, I have
Yes,
another
Veena,
question.
yes, I'm here.
See, we have been talking about involving all stakeholders, possibly all stakeholders, by creating the content,
Right.
right?
Right.
But on the other hand, as an institution, we also are required to address the needs of many stakeholders who are not directly involved in maybe creating the content part of it. For example, what I mean by involving stakeholder is, for example, we get into the process of accreditation, ranking, rating, and so on and so forth, where the institution quality gets measured.
Correct.
And they look for certain things in the certain things in the website and also the public contents that we release every now and then.
Okay.
So how do we really take care of that and also take care of the maybe, if I can put the word, consumers or customers of mine into together? How do we bring in that synergy between those who are going to monitor us and those who really are going to be our customers?
Is it difficult to bring in a synergy? Are they really clashing?
No, it is not clashing, but the type of expectations are very different.
Yes. So give me
how
the flavor of.
How do I bring in that?
No. Let me ask you a question. So give me a flavor of the expectations from, let's say, accreditation bodies, government bodies. Give me some idea. What do they expect?
See, there are some mandatory disclosures that we anyway do. Other than that, lot of formats, lot of specific contents.
Okay.
So when we try to mix and match things, it could be a little challenging for us.
So give me an example of the kind of content. Give me an example of two things that they want.
Okay.
Two listings or two items. Tell me, what do they want to see on the website?
Mostly all the academic activities that we do needs to be showcased on the website, of course, which can be done in any other format which we have already discussed, which we have given a lengthy list of points to be kept in mind while putting the contents into the website. I'm not able to give you exact example, so to say.
Okay.
But how do we really help ourselves brand in such a way that like we appeal to both or varied type of customers that we might have to cater
Yeah.
to?
So see, on the market side, you only have to bother or cater to mainly your core target audiences, right? Which you will have defined. Okay. The children that you expect who will join, as well as their parents. Now that's okay. Then you have the government related stakeholders, industry regulators, industry accreditation bodies, etc. Right? Correct. Like AICTE, for example, I'm saying, or bodies like that. Yes. So like you said, they will have a criteria. They will need certain things listed on the website or put it up. I think you can easily put it up there. So I've worked very closely with NIT Trichy, okay, National Institute of Technology, right? REC. Trichy and a couple of other colleges where it is possible. I don't see a clash at all there, Veena. When you identify your brand, what it stands for, and therefore all the other creative aspects, this information they require, you can easily portray in the same template that you've created. Because the information that they want is not clashing with the kind of information or the kind of expectations that the market has. Thankfully, that is not a problem. So you can portray that in the design, in the template, in the spirit, in the tone, whatever you create for the brand, see, this might not exactly, let's assume that some of the information that the government wants or Ministry of Education wants is very dry information. It's a listing of, there are reports.
Absolutely.
They might want that, right? I agree that that's something that I think they'll want, but that's fine. Yeah, just put it down there. That's okay. Your market, that is, like you said, the consumers may not really bother so much about it. They'll be there on your website, but that's not something that they will attract or go to their attention.
I would encourage other participants also to ask questions through your question answer. Q&A tag, please.
Or they can raise the question hands. We can allow them to talk also, ma'am.
Yes, we can unmute them.
Yeah.
When they raise hands.
Yes.
And then they can ask their questions.
Right, guys, shoot, please, folks. Whatever may be your doubt, get it clarified. No problems.
Meanwhile, Ganesh, you shared some 4 website link. Is it need to be played now or?
Yeah. So you can play them now. Let's just go through them, please.
Yeah, I'll share the screen. The first screen, INSEAD.
Yeah, INSEAD. I spoke about this, right?
Yeah.
So, see, none of these websites is, I don't mean to say, or why I'm showing you is not to prove that or say that one of them is the best website or perfect website. Don't look at it from that point of view. But each website has certain good points, good aspects, which we can observe. That is the idea. So INSEAD, just stay there, please, Solomon, 1 minute.
Yeah. Okay.
Look at the logo on the top left, and right next to it is the tagline, the business school for the world, right? It reflects their ethos, their promise, the kind of approach that they have or mindset that they cater to. And then you have the tabs in green there. There are some sub tabs above them in gray. And then you can come down, the banner, what is known as the banner on top. That is the centerpiece of every page. That's a top piece. The banner has a visual, and then equity, diversity, and inclusion at INSEAD. See what it speaks of. Like I said, again, think of the brand ethos, INSEAD, leadership, global. Therefore, for that kind of an audience, equity, diversity, and inclusion is a very important topic. So that's something that they've featured on the banner. It's a scrolling banner. So there are some 4 or 5 other banners also. Then go down, just scroll down. If you can scroll down, Solomon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slowly, scroll down slowly. Then it has statistics, alumni. Then it has this aspect, thought leadership. Thought leadership is very clearly put out there, where you'll find very, very fine, very good articles on aspects related to leadership and the life of a business leader. Then you have moments from the campus, INSEAD moments. Go down. Yes, keep going down slowly. And then there is a specific call to action. Scroll down, Solomon.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just stay here. Please stay here. Yes. So you see questions, question mark. So this is what is known as a call to action. It's important for a website to have a call to action at important points and to make it easy for them to contact the institute. So send in a query. Do you have a query? Please click here. Or if you have questions, get in touch with us. And then links to social media handles have to be prominently given, like you see in the footer there. You see the black footer at the bottom. You see all social media links there. And that makes it very easy for me to reach out to them. Get in touch is another specific area, specific link. So there are these important content heads, right? Which we've seen, or tabs. Apart from that, what grabbed my eye about this website is its simplicity of design. See, there aren't too many colors. The background is predominantly white, and in a few places, it's just gray bands. Otherwise, it just has colors in the visuals, that's all. and all the main tabs and the logo are in green and white. So clarity is partly a matter of what colors you use, how many colors you use, and how you marry the colors, how do they come together on the website. So clutter is not just in terms of textual or video content. Clutter can also be in terms of design, in terms of colors. And that's something that this website has avoided. Can you move to another website, Solomon?
Yeah, sure.
Any of the others? Yeah. Okay, yeah, just stay there. What's your first impression of seeing this visual? It's jazzy, it is funky, it has quite a few colors, it is a little abstract, it has many elements, right? So it's not really saying something very straightforward. It's not A for apple, it's not that kind at all. No problem, no wonder, because it's a design school. So it's a Rhodes School of Design, one of the leading schools that focus on all aspects of design, especially graphic design. Okay, so this is the kind of world that their audience lives in. This is what they love to see. This is the kind of work that they will do after passing out of this college. So this is their profession. This is their world. It's very vibrant. It's very abstract. It is very arty. So that's something that they've portrayed on the banner, which is great. And right on the banner, there are two tabs, right, in black and with white font: Explore Our Programs and Online Info Sessions. So again, two critical requests that they must have got repeatedly from many parents and many students, and they've addressed them right there. Above the banner, right on top of the website, you have those banner tabs in white against a black background. Very clear, easy to read, and not too many things. Okay, all of them focused on what the target audience may need. Then you have a search button there, or a search field, and move down, please. Yes, and the rest of it is about aspects about the campus, about safety during COVID times, which again is a big concern for education institutions, and news about the institute, RID news. Let's keep scrolling down. Art installations, or just go up, please. One step. Yes, stay there. Art installation on national landmark. So this is an industry project, a design project that is done. So this is related to the thought leadership aspect that I spoke of. So on this website, you'll find a lot of creative articles, blogs, information about projects done, design installations, art. You'll find a lot of that. So for them, in their field, this is what thought leadership means. This is the manifestation of thought leadership. Scroll down, please. Yes, then news from the industry, or an achievement, you can call it an achievement. RISD alums make 30 under 30 list on Forbes, which is a great thing for them. Yes, go down. Yeah, okay. Harnessing VR for the arts. You know, VR is virtual reality. How do you harness that for the arts? Again, part of the thought leadership module. Getting ready to apply. So that's the call to action. Your call to action is critical for a website because, like I said, it's a conversation starter. People you don't expect them to just come read and go away, right? They must get deeper into a conversation. So they should reach out to you. Yes. Another website, please. Or if there's something more?
Yeah, some more.
Okay. Go down. Okay. A record year of engagement. Okay. RISD Families Association Online. So apart from the vibrant content, the thought leadership, the vibrancy of design, I also see clarity here because this also is not cluttered, or the navigation is very easy. We'll just show one more, Solomon. Any of those? One more.
I know.
Okay, yeah, you can stay here. IM gives a different feel. It has those tabs, and then go down. The banner has visuals on events that happened, guest lectures and events, and inauguration of a new batch. International Mother Tongue Day, announcements, events, news. Links. Is that it? Have you gone down?
That's all.
Okay, so you can see the contrast of the richness and the kind of information given in the other websites versus this. So if I were to objectively look at it, I don't think the promise of an IIM is coming through this website. It's not. I've seen the other websites of other IIMs also. They again do not reflect what a brand IIM is about, the power and promise of that brand. What's unique, what's special, not coming through. So great brand, but a lot left to be desired on the website design front.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that's enough. That's enough. So you can close. We'll move back to the screen. Yes. Did any more questions come through in the meanwhile, or do you want to ask any questions now? We're all waiting. If you ask me questions, I will think that my session has been interesting and useful. It has triggered thought. Otherwise, what am I supposed to think? All right. So should we stop now if there are no further questions?
What you're supposed to think, maybe you are given too many points to think about, so they're still munching the points.
Possibly it's a little overwhelming also. Yes, possibly. If I've given you food for thought, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Right. So I think we'll close the session now, Veena. What do you say?
Yes. You can give the work for the afternoon session so that we can resume for the afternoon.
Okay, now I have a question. Are we going to segregate them into groups, cluster them, or will they do this individually, or what? I can see that there are 66 participants.
If you want us to do that. No, we have 75 on the Zoom and then some more on the YouTube.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, because they're very dispersed, how are we going to get responses, or what do we expect from them? So how do we see that?
We can have some of the chosen participants, and then if they can, we can make them presenters. When they present it, we can debrief them, and that will be the benefit for others as well.
Okay, so we'll choose a limited set then, right? Okay, cool.
Sure, yeah.
That makes it more manageable. Yeah,
yes.
Sure. So the activity is this, and from whatever I've covered in my session, just go back, pick out a website of your choice. Okay, it can be an educational institution. I think it'll be, it can be from any other domain, any other field also. The idea is not to limit it at this stage to this sector, but to understand the power and potential of branding fully. I think it's important to look at a wide variety of industries. So look at other domains and feel free to choose a website of your whatever website you want and audit that website for us. Can you do that? Audit it according to whatever I have spoken of so far. From the branding perspective, in other words, right? So I called out certain essential aspects of branding. I called out the purpose of a website. I said it should do all of these things. The 4 critical questions of brand identity. I spoke of merging that with or integrating that with social media. I spoke of the nature of the textual content, multidimensional content. I've spoken of all these aspects, right? So keeping those in mind, please audit that website. Come up with your comments on where the website stands. All right. The idea is not to award points to them or to find out which is the best of the lot that you find. The idea is just that you pick a website, you have a template of what it should ideally be, given whatever I've spoken, but you find out where that website stands as of today, right? So what are the plus points? What are some good things that it has done from the branding perspective? And what are some areas where it needs to improve? Can you do that? Is that good, Veena?
Yeah, good enough. And how many minutes can we give each of the presenter? About 5 minutes?
I think we will need about 5 minutes, yeah. Yes, to do justice to this, at least 5 minutes.
So once they finish the auditing part of it, if they wish to, they can even make a single slide PPT, and they can come up with their comments and their audit outcomes and make a presentation for about audit findings, and then make a presentation for 5 minutes. And then once the presentation's over, we can have a quick debriefing.
Yes, correct. So, yeah, and each person is requested to restrict himself to 5 minutes, please, because I do have a hard stop. So,
sure,
I think we can make this last about 60 minutes max. So,
yes,
if we assemble at 2 o'clock, 2 to 3, I'm dedicating to this. But I think that will give us a good enough, representation.
Absolutely.
That will accommodate about 10 people clearly. So 10 into 5 is 50 plus about 10 minutes for a wrap up. Is that cool?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Fantastic.
Fine. So you please identify and let's hear from 10 people. I'm all eager to see how you deconstruct and how you make sense out of it. Also, please remember, you don't have to strictly stick to only what I said. See, what I've said is important, but you feel free as a member of the market, as a consumer, as someone in the education industry, please feel free to ask a few other questions and come up with a few more ideas of what they could have done. All right. So let this not be restrictive in any sense. Righto then?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Veena, for the invitation, and Solomon and Veena both for organizing this. And I must thank the Institute for really, as I said, thinking up of this, thinking of this theme and inviting me to speak. I've thoroughly enjoyed this.
We are indeed grateful. We are indeed grateful to you, sir, for the ameliorating interactive session and sharing with us an abundant wealth of information, wisdom, and a world of varied knowledge about branding, its nitty-gritties, nuances, and its impact. I truly believe that all the participants would have greatly enriched from the informative session. And yes, sir, you have provided all of us food for thought. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, and see you again at 2 o'clock. Bye.
Yes, sir. We look forward to that.
All right.
That brings us to the end of an enlightening morning session. We resume at 2 p.m. after a lunch break. Okay. We shall make the teams right away. So I hope all of you are still there. Kindly give us a few minutes. Request all the faculty members who are present from the other institutions to be ready with their presentation as just informed to us by sir a little while ago. And
give Renuka website. And then
fine, we'll end the session. And those who are giving the presentation in the activities, give us the name through your group, WhatsApp group. And all the faculties from other institute, you are requested to give the presentation in the afternoon. Yeah, thank you.
We resume at 2 p.m. after the lunch break. See you all then. Have a great day. Thank you.